welcome back to another episode of Everyday Bubbly with Taylor and Allegra. As always, we are so happy that you're here. I feel like I say this every time, but this is going to be a fun episode.
We have some good tips and tricks this time.
Yeah, Allegra, what are we sipping on today?
Okay, so this might be our best gin jamboree we've ever done. I have to say. It's got, the glass makes a difference. We have these really cool vintage little goblets that you recently got.
Yeah, this new vintage store that opened in Austin on South Lamar, if you're local. We'll see if I can remember and post them or reshare something on our Insta. But yeah, they had different little crystal goblets that you could mix and match in different colors, and they're just fun.
They're so fun. But we did Empress Gin, which is our usual go-to favorite. We also did a mixed berry jam and good squeezes of fresh lemon. And I think altogether, this is the mixed berry gin jamboree.
And it's delightful. I'm so pleased with it.
The first sip I had, I was like, is this cranberry in here? It was like that tart from the lemon juice. So it was good.
It's delicious. I'm so happy about it. Well, we know what we're drinking today. Let's dive on in. Today, what are we talking about today, Allie?
We're talking about beauty and skin. And what are tips and tricks for like our best beauty hacks, skincare hacks? How do we keep ourselves looking fresh? We're only getting older. Like the older we get, the more that we need to take care of our face and our body. And what products are we using, or what tips and tricks are we using to make sure we're always keeping a youthful glow to ourselves?
Yeah, the way that I do my skincare and makeup is so different than the way I did it when I was younger. And in some ways, like it makes sense. Like my skincare routine is more targeted, maybe not more elaborate, but more targeted. But my makeup routine has gone in the toilet. I feel like I had a full, it was also just like trends. Like in 2016, I had a full face.
I would say too, like makeup was like the focus of my earlier years, and now skincare is my current focus, and like makeup is just an added bonus. But like you don't even need a lot of makeup if your skin is looking clear and glowy. Like you don't need a lot of makeup on top of that. So taking care of the skin, number one, in my mind, is the priority.
Yeah. So why don't we start with like giving almost a little rundown of our different skin types? Because I think we have even though we share product recommendations a lot back and forth, I think we have very different skin.
It's so funny that I don't really even know if I know what my real skin type is. I used to always say I have dry skin because I just have always felt like I've had like little flakes of skin and just dry patches. But the more that I've gone and seen a dermatologist, the more I've realized I actually have oily skin and that my oils create a certain type of yeast on my face, which results in flaky skin. So I have part dry skin, part oily skin. It's not quite combination skin.
Interesting.
But it is something I have to look at both parts of it. And it's just been a little interesting journey.
Yeah, and I've always had really oily skin. I think when I was in college for a little bit, my skin was really dry. My skin tends to get very oily. Like by midday, you can definitely like see the sheen on my face. I think that it has normal, not that there is a normal skin, but like normalized a little bit more in my more recent years. So now I don't get quite as greasy as I once did. But my skin definitely leans more towards oily. And I will say my skin's not overly sensitive. Like I think some people have to be very careful with their products.
I'm so sensitive. My skin is like, you use one new product that's not like something you used before, and it's like you have very high risk of breakout. Yeah,
I don't have too much of that, but I do try and keep things very simple just because I'm always concerned that like maybe this will be the day. And I do tend to get breakouts around my chin, like right before my period, but that just is hormonal. Like my skincare really has nothing to do with that.
I also have eczema and I have rosacea. So
very different skins.
Yeah, rosacea with it, which is like the redness that comes, the inflammation, the redness that comes in the T-zone. And my eczema is really come and go with little splotches around my face. It happens very highly around allergy season.
That makes sense.
Which I think is when I'm like, Yeah, I mean, eczema is a symptom of allergies. It's
Yeah.
like when something is not fitting with your face.
What are some of your favorite skincare tips?
So as someone who has a lot of dryness, a lot of flakiness, the number one priority I'm always looking for is putting moisture into my face. So I am the biggest proponent of hyaluronic acid and finding a good brand that is just very pure ingredients, just almost like you're kind of just looking for just hyaluronic acid. You don't even want like a bunch of additives, fillers, and you want to put that on when your face is wet. You cleanse your face and your face is done and you just kind of pat it dry. You want a lot of moisture still on the face. Hit it with that hyaluronic acid serum, and I use the hyaluronic acid serum from Dime, Dime, and I've noticed it has made such a difference. Plumpness, moisture filling, it's filling in the cracks of my skin. It's wonderful.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I'm also a big proponent of just keeping moisture locked into my skin. I think because I'm oily, and it's so counterintuitive, but I want to make sure my skin has like the right amount of moisture, because otherwise if it doesn't, it just gets oilier if it doesn't like stay moisturized. So my trick is I like to spritz my face with water, like a toner or something like that. So the same like dampening.
Yeah.
And instead of using normal moisturizer, I use rosehip oil, like just 100% pure rosehip oil. And I just press or like rub that into my face, and I just feel like it locks everything in. And I like my skin to be like a little bit damp to like really make sure there's moisture in there to like stay locked in.
I know. I feel like there's always do I use the oil? Do I use a moisturizer? I think it just depends on your skin type and what your kind of preference is. I still like to follow up with a thicker moisturizer, especially in the evenings. But I feel like you said that about rosehip oil, and I'm like, maybe I should try that because
that's my morning and night. Cause I'll do like almost a little sandwich. I'll like wash my face, hyaluronic acid, whatever like serum I'm putting on for the night. I'll do that like an hour or so before bed. And then right before bed, I do a little spritzy with my toner, and then I put my oil on to like get ready for the bed.
So which hyaluronic acid brand are you using?
That's a great question. I don't even know. I got it from H-E-B.
Oh, yeah,
I have no idea. I definitely tried to get like clean, non-toxic things. So I think it's just like some random
I mean, most
brand.
of the brands, if you look and you're just looking for hyaluronic acid, you're getting what you need out of it. There are some that have other additives, other things in it, and like you don't need all that. You just need the hyaluronic acid. That's it.
Another one of mine that I discovered on TikTok actually pretty recently for skincare. Everybody is doing ice rolling. That's like very much the thing to do right now is ice roll. I see the Skinny Confidential fucking whatever it's called.
Do what?
Ice rolling?
Oh, ice rolling. Yeah.
Was I like talking? Oh, yeah, that one.
That one. The big block of things. Yeah.
Everybody's doing ice rolling lately, and I got an ice roller, and I like don't love it. I don't know why. I feel like it warms up very quickly.
It does.
So I've been using just straight up ice cubes on my face first thing. Just rubbing that ice cube around until it fully melts. And that's my first step of my skincare lately.
I actually love that because my biggest gripe with the ice roller is like, are people cleaning these after every use? And if they're not, then they're just getting filled with like oil and product that you're just then re-rolling back on your face. So I've never been in the hype of the ice roller.
Just get an ice cube.
Ice cube.
And just rub it all over. And it's not as cold as I thought it was going to, like obviously it's ice, so it is cold, but it wasn't as jarring as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
it feels
it's going to
really
depuff.
Nice.
It's going to reduce your inflammation. It's going to reduce your redness probably.
I like
Ooh, I
right
should try
underneath my eyes because I like tend to have like pretty big bags under my eyes sometimes. And
do you use a cube or what kind of?
I literally use the cube that my refrigerator makes.
Because I feel like mine does a crescent moon shape.
That's still fine. Just
Yeah,
rub it
you
on your
just
face.
rub it around.
Yeah. That's my newer things.
My other one is exfoliation. I think some people, even if you have sensitive skin, you should try to exfoliate at least once a week, if not twice or 3 times a week. And you can do that with a physical exfoliant, something that's got kind of like beads, not the St. Ives. Do not use the St. Ives bullshit.
Honestly, I think that's what saved us from COVID is the fact that we had used St. Ives as teenagers and just built up immunity to anything.
I know. I use a brand Hydropeptide, their exfoliant scrub. It's really nice. I use it in the shower. But I also use a chemical exfoliant, which some people might find that a little bit easier to use versus the physical scrub, especially if you have very sensitive skin or rosacea skin. I use the Paula's Choice, the 2% BHA exfoliant. Just put it on a little like cotton ball, a little swab, wipe it on your face. But I know there's a bunch of other ones out there that are good.
Speaking of exfoliant, and I know we're all talking about skincare, but you know, body care is a part of skincare.
It is.
And I love exfoliants for body care. I got one recently that is a physical exfoliant. Like it has like the little scrubby bits and it has AHAs in it as well. And I've been really, really in.
Do you use it with your arm or do you use it with like a scrubby?
I use it with my hands because I just get like, I don't want too much abrasion. So I just like rub it in myself. But I really have been into that. I feel like I come out of the shower feeling like so smooth and fresh.
You're like a little seal, like baby seal.
Little baby seal.
That's actually like leads into my next one, but I feel like, the body exfoliant. I also use the KP Bump Eraser
I've seen that.
from First Aid Beauty for my little rough spots where I have I don't even know what KP stands for, but look it up. You know, it's like I get it on
it's like
the side of my knees. It's like keto something.
I don't actually know.
Peleosis.
Yep, that's what it's. I have no idea.
But it's like I get these bumps on the back of my arms and on my kneecaps, and it helps like to really get those exfoliated and ground down, so you have smooth skin.
I love that.
Yeah, but balm. I love a good balm over moisture sometimes. And if you have oily skin, a balm might not be the best for your face at least, but body balm, like body oil, body balm, and then one for my face. I use the one from Ren Clean Skincare for my face. Oh.
And balms are just
it feels like you're just
thicker.
wrapping, it's like it feels like you're like putting Vaseline on your face. It's not like thick and creamy, but it's good. You don't have to use a lot, but I don't know, the first time I used it, I was like, this can't be right. This is too thick. But then it felt so good.
I love that. For my body moisturizer, you guys are going to sense a theme here. I just use coconut oil. I get like a big, not even from the beauty section. I think I've said this on the pod before, but I get a big old vat of coconut oil from like the baking area or like the oil area.
Yeah.
And I just literally keep a little spoon and I scoop it out and I smother myself in coconut oil. That's me.
Rub, rub, rub.
Rub, 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 rub. And then I have...
Do you put it on your face too or just your body?
No. Just the roast for the face. I think it'd be too thick for my face. And even though I'm not super sensitive, it makes me nervous.
And it just absorbs.
Yeah. Sometimes if I am showering in the middle of the day and like I'm getting ready to go and then I get in the car or like put some more oil on like right before I get in the car, you can definitely see streaks of coconut oil on the driver's seat.
Oopsies.
But, nobody else is sitting in the driver's seat except me. So it's okay.
I will say the exfoliation helps a lot too, like with your face, if you're using something on your face for your makeup. I think your makeup applies so much nicer when you're doing something at least 2 or 3 times a week to get the dead skin cells. Just, you're going to see your makeup being a lot less cakey when you do that.
I think that's really, really accurate. Or even like, sometimes it helps with like fine lines. And I know there's like certain spots where they're not even fine lines. They're just like how my face moves. But then the makeup will get like a little bit caked in there. If I'm doing really well with my exfoliation, it doesn't get nearly as cakey.
I know. I notice it a lot around the sides of my nose and like by my eyebrow. When I don't exfoliate, it just builds up. And then I see the cakiness of whatever makeup I put. And then I'm like, oh, it's all I can see.
Do you have any like more general skincare, body care ones before? I have like 2 more.
I think the only other one, why don't you go first? Because I have one more.
Okay. My other one is silk pillowcases.
Oh, yes.
That's a big one. I am, maybe like 2 years into my silk pillowcase game? Maybe, like 2-ish years. And I have a silk bonnet as well.
The bonnet. I have to just say, the bonnet.
Makes a difference.
I'm just going to say this. I hope it's not. I've only ever heard of people with black hair wearing bonnets, but I've more recently seen people with just curly hair, and it makes such a difference.
It makes such a difference.
I have one in my Amazon cart.
Yeah, your hair is just like not moving around and getting like tossed and turned and like all over the place. It just stays.
Eliminates the frizz.
Yeah.
It helps with the volume.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the old silk bonnet, silk pillowcase. I double up because, like, say my bonnet falls off halfway through the night. I'm still getting the silk from the pillowcase. And also it's really good for your skin.
Yeah.
Like I'm tossing and turning. I honestly, people are like, oh, are you a side sleeper or a stomach sleeper? I'm like, I could not tell you. I'm an all 360 sleeper.
Yeah.
And I'm like pressing my face into it, and cotton would leave a bit more impressions than silk does. Your skin is just kind of like sliding off.
Yeah.
I will say it's hard when you first get into bed and you're slathered in oils like I am.
You're like slip and
like,
slide.
God.
Whoa.
But after I absorb, then it's great. So that's my other thing is silk pillowcases. And they're honestly, you can see some from brands like Slip or whatever like that. They're like $80 sometimes. But I've also found really good satin ones on Amazon for like $13 to $20. So much more affordable option if that's something you're interested in pursuing.
I love that. I also use silk hair ties now, like tiny little. You can't see it on my head, but I have a little thin silk scrunchie that I use for my hair ties now.
Yeah, your hair just doesn't get caught as much.
It doesn't. It doesn't get all tangled and ripped out when you are putting your hair up.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one that I had was about what I use to dry my face off. I've heard some people are like, I use a face towel. Oh, you don't use towels because they get bacteria in them. So there's like this whole debate on what you do or don't use. I have found that face towels are totally fine if you're just using it for your face. Don't use it also as your hand towel. Don't use it to wipe your body off. You need a towel that is just for your face. And then I use that for, I don't know, up to 4 or 5 days before I switch it out with the next one.
Oh, you're so much better at that than I am.
Yeah.
My body towel does double as my hand towel sometimes, and also my face towel. So, and sometimes it's my just lying down on the bed when I'm dripping wet and I don't feel like putting clothes on towels. So
I think it just depends. If you're prone to breakouts, I would be more on top of changing out what you're using to wipe your face. But I'm not the kind of person that thinks you need to use disposable once and then you're done with it towel. Like you can
that seems wasteful.
You could. It does seem. I know there's some that are compostable, and if you're actually composting those towels, good for you. You're doing a good thing with those. But if you're just using like, I don't know, like a paper towel or something, don't do that. Like just use a hand towel. But I keep 2 separate. I keep one for my face and one for my hands. So when I wash my hands in my sink, I use one towel. When I wash my face, I use another towel.
That's brilliant. I should definitely do better.
And then one with my body. My body gets its own towel too.
No, I'm so bad about that. I really need to be better.
But your skin looks so good, so maybe you just don't have to worry about it.
I won't fuck with it. I'm not going to ruin the system.
You know what? If you don't have issues with what you're doing, you don't need to change things.
But if you do have issues, or you just want to see if you can get even better, like try it out, see what happens.
There's different tips.
Tips. So. My last body care tip is, and actually I'm surprised you don't have one like this, sun shirts. When I go for my walks in the morning, I like try and take Ash on a walk every single morning for at least a mile, hopefully like 2-ish if we can fit it into our schedule. I love to wear long sleeve shirts and hats, especially in the summer, because I'm not great at wearing sunscreen. I know, it's my worst. It is my worst habit. That's a lie. I have a lot of bad habits. That's one of my worst habits is I don't do sunscreen. I know, I'm so bad at it. But I wear hats and long sleeve shirts when I'm out in the early mornings, and I try and because I tan very, very quickly. And if I'm not protecting my face and my arms, I come back so dark from literally being outside for 30 minutes. So probably I should add sunscreen to that mix.
The reason why I don't have this is because I wear sunscreen every single day.
Arms?
All of it.
You slather your whole body in sunscreen and you reapply every 2 hours?
Not every 2 hours, but I'm not outside every 2 hours.
Well, I'm outside and I put on a sun shirt.
I'm sitting in an office all day, or I'm sitting in my house. I will put sunscreen on every time I go outside.
You're really good about that.
I love my facial sunscreen.
Yeah. I did get one recently that I do quite like. I get I'm so into my habit. Go back and listen to last week's episode about habits.
Building habits.
I get so into my like habits of not doing it that I like don't think about it until I'm outside already.
It should be the last thing. Put it by the door.
On what?
I don't know.
On the floor?
Put a little shelf.
No, absolutely not.
Hang a little shelf.
I'm not putting a shelf up there. There's no space for a shelf.
I'll find a place for it.
But yeah, that's my tip. Especially
if you're not gonna wear
sunscreen like me, wear a sun shirt. I will say it when I would go, or a hat, or both. Trucker hats are in now. It's great. I get a lot of weird looks when I ask for sun shirts in the middle of summer. People are like, you want a long sleeve shirt right now? But yes. Target has some really good, colorful ones, and I believe in protecting my skin, but not with sunscreen. It's fine.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so good. Okay.
Yeah, that's my last body care tip.
Yeah, that's my last one. Besides wear sunscreen every single day.
One day I'll do it.
Wear it. What are some of do you have any makeup or?
I don't really wear a lot of makeup.
So what is your makeup routine and like what do you do to look effortless?
I don't put any on most of the time.
Don't do anything? You do some things. I know some products.
6 days out of the week, I'm not wearing makeup. When I am wearing makeup, I use this Super Glowy gel. Just slather that all over my face. And then I'll use blush, and that actually is my tip. And my friend Annabeth actually taught me this earlier this year. I had never heard this before, and I've always been very anti-blush. I'm sorry if you're a Pi-Fi, but to me, blush reminds me of the Pi-Fis in college who wore too much blush.
Too much blush.
And it was just like a look in not a good way. So I've always been scared of it. But Annabeth is like, blush actually brightens your face up more than concealer does. So that's what I wear. Some days I won't even do the Glowy Super Gel, and I'm just putting a little bit of blush on, and that's it.
What about your Ciele? Are you still using it?
Yeah, I love this foundation. I was thinking about this last night. I love this foundation. I think it's the best foundation I've ever used. I just don't fucking use it enough.
Yeah.
But Ciele has all of their products are SPF 55, I'm pretty sure.
50, I think, yeah. 50, 55,
yeah. That range. Yeah. They have a blush, they have foundation, they just released a bronzer.
They have a powder.
And I love their foundation. I think it's the lightest, the best tinted foundation I've ever met in my entire life. I think it's great. It's very buildable. I just don't put it on. I just like forget about it. I just don't think about it. But it's so good.
I mean, your skin looks amazing.
Thank you.
And
I think a lot of it has just like I grew up, my skin kind of leveled. I did not have great skin throughout my teens and my early 20s. I was looking at pictures earlier today of even 6-7 years ago, my skin was not this good. But it's gotten a lot better, and now it's made me very lazy in terms of skincare.
I think that's good though, because I always think that less is more. When it comes to products for your face. And if you don't need foundation or concealer, don't wear it. You don't have to put it on.
Yeah.
If your skin looks good and glowy, then you don't need it. So
yeah, I use makeup more for just fun, which I think is why blush has been really good. But yeah, that's my biggest tip right now is blush actually brightens your face more than concealer does.
I like that.
And I've been doing it kind of in a sunburnt way. So tops of the cheeks, tops of the head, and across my nose. So I look like I've just been a little bit sunburnt. But I'm not sunburnt because I had a hat on. Not sunscreen though.
Not sunscreen though. Well, I think the ones that I had were really about, I always go back and forth between using primer or not using primer. I've only really ever used primer when I've had an event where I'm putting a lot of makeup on, so I want it to look nice. But I have found a really good 3-in-1 product. It is SPF, moisturizer, and primer.
Ooh.
It's from a brand called Live Tinted, and it goes on clear, but it has all three, and it makes my face look really amazing without anything on top of it. So,
is it a little shimmery?
A little bit. It's a little glowy, but it actually, when I squeeze it on my fingers, it looks orangey. But then when I rub it in, it turns to clear.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It doesn't even have a tint to it. I just smear it all on, looks glowy, has the SPF, has the moisture, has the primer. And I have found that I feel like my makeup goes on. When I do put makeup on, it goes better.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you necessarily need a primer.
I think it depends. Because when I do wear foundation, I think about this. It depends on like the day. Like you were saying, if it's an event with like a lot of makeup, or
If you're gonna
if
be
it's fucking
outside
hot.
or sweaty, you want something that's gonna like absorb and like help blur the pores.
I really like, for if you are in the market for a new primer, the Milk Hydro Grip. I think it's really, really good.
That is a good primer. I think I've heard of that one.
That one's really good. My other tip is, and I don't even know if this is a hot take. Maybe everybody else is coming around to this too. I know beauty blenders were all the rage, and everybody was all into beauty blenders and like multiple colors, shapes, sizes, whatever. I think brushes are better. I'm gonna say it. I think a big fluffy brush, especially because I'm using a lot of creamy.
I love a foundation brush.
Yeah.
A big flat brush to just rub it all in. Yes.
I just think they're so much better.
I don't like beauty blenders.
I don't eat, and they feel, even though it's the same amount of unsanitary, it's not, because I'm wetting my beauty blender and I'm not wetting my brushes. And I just think brushes are better, especially when you get one of those like really compact ones for gels and creams.
I would agree. I don't like the beauty blenders.
No, can we like just throw, as a society, are we over them?
Yeah, let's just, they're an out.
They're out.
Out. In, brushes, out, beauty blenders. The next one I had is about, it's not even like a really a tip, but it's a question. Foundation or tinted moisturizer?
Ooh.
I think we've answered that a little bit. I think it just depends on the occasion. I love, as someone who has dry skin, I want lighter. I want less coverage. And luckily it's because I've been blessed with less blemishes, less acne. I don't need full coverage. So I always look and steer towards a tinted moisturizer than I do a foundation.
So I would rather have a foundation than a tinted moisturizer. I usually find that a tinted moisturizer is never the right tint for my skin. It always looks like a little bit chalky or like a little bit too dark. Like it just never fits.
Yeah.
And I like the buildability of having a foundation and being able to control it.
Yeah.
Like some days I just want like a little spot treatment.
Yep.
Or sometimes I will a little bit more. So I would say foundation over tinted moisturizer.
See, yeah, you're getting two different answers from two different people.
And again, we have very different skin. So that's a big part of it. Like you like that because you have dry skin anyway, so you want that extra moisture. And I'm just using oils.
You already have oily skin, so you're like, the more matte finish you can get is probably better.
Yeah, because I just get so shiny so fast.
Do you find that, do you use a setting powder for your
I don't,
oils?
and I've always considered, again, going back to CLE, since they have that finishing powder, I've always thought about getting it and just trying it out.
I will say I still stand by the Kosas one too.
You have said that before.
Yeah, because no matter what I use, like if I put a little bit of that on, it mats up whatever I have on my face.
I really should. That's one thing I've never
You should try it.
dove.
Yeah, I feel like even if you used just that with your, like the super glowy is probably going to make your skin look very dewy, glowy, maybe even oily after a few hours. And so if you need a little pat powder, I would try that. The powder absorbs some of that,
that oiliness, and like glowy. Yeah. I might try that. But not sunscreen, just the powder.
No SPF in that one.
Nope. None of that.
Although if you use the CLE.
I will.
Yeah. I think the last one I had is I just discovered an amazing product, and this is why I wanted to go to Ulta today. I was like, I want to go to Ulta before it closes. Chanel has a multi-stick that is a multi-use kind of balm, but it is their glow balm in a stick form, and you can use it as a highlighter. You can also use it to just get more moisture into your face. So my sister has it. The other day I put on makeup and I felt like it was like looking too matte, too dry, a little too cakey.
You wanted more dimension.
I just put a little bit on my fingers and like blotted it in, and I looked more just dewy.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And I'm like, wow, Chanel knows what they're doing. I know this is an expensive product, but
it's multi-use.
it was multi-use. You can, again, highlighter, lip balm, you can pat into your cakey bits and get more moisture in them.
That's so cool.
It's really cool. I agree.
that.
Yeah. So
My last tip maybe is a bit of a duh, Taylor. Of course, we know that. Like, stop. Drink more water.
oh my God, yes.
Eat your vegetables. We we recently got a juicer, and I will say, I said this before, I don't really like fruit. It's like not my favorite thing. But now that we have a juicer, I've been juicing up a fruit and storm, and I'm just getting a lot more of those nutrients in. I feel a little bit better because of it, and I can tell the difference in my face when I don't have enough water. Like, I can see
100% drink more water.
like I just feel like a little lackluster and like sad when I don't have enough water. So if you're already thirsty, it's probably too late. That means your body is like getting dehydrated. So just try and remember to drink water even if you're not like super thirsty right now. That's my final tip. Hydrate.
Okay, then I have one more.
Okay.
It is if you have oily or combination skin and you have found that products that you use are making you break out, I would definitely encourage you to look into using non-pore clogging products. And when I say that, I feel like, what does that mean? There is actually a free website on acneclinicnyc.com that you can put in the products of whatever you're using. And it's free, and it can tell you if it's non-pore clogging or not. And that's something my sister and I have been kind of doing. My sister, it's funny, we're twins, but we have had different skincare journeys. And she, more than I, has had to deal with like hormonal acne in her late 20s, early 30s. Really bad cystic acne in her face that has taken her a long time to recover from. But she's now dealing with, a beautiful face and not having those issues. And she's taught me, look for these products that don't clog your pores. And this is a free website that you can use.
What was it again?
acneclinicnyc.com.
Nice.
And yeah, you can just put in your product ingredients and it'll spit it out. And if it's pore clogging, you might want to consider if you want to use it or not. But if it isn't, you should continue to use it.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. That's a good final tip.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us on our skincare journey. I feel like we tried to touch skincare, body care, makeup, beauty care, all of the things. And yeah, I mean, I think this was a fun, again, we have such different skin and journeys that we have been on, but we still get to learn from each other. Like, we've shared products back and forth.
I know, I'm going to maybe use rosehip oil as my moisturizer.
I just love how light and
and you might find SPF in your life.
I might find some SPF. I know that I need to use it, and I don't know why it's a bad habit, and I need to break that habit. Don't tell my mom. My mom would be really disappointed in me if she knew I was not wearing
I'm so sorry.
sunscreen. So, all right, y'all. Well,
Cheers,
we will
y'all.
catch you guys next week.
Cheers.